I saw we pressed 3. I would like to say 2 things about O'Neal Palmer because it's there.
Okay.
O'Neal Palmer is a great.
Is it great?
He is a great. And O'Neal Palmer also taught me one of the greatest quotes I've ever learned in my adult life. In 2015, O'Neal Palmer came to my house to come visit me before he moved to to LA and do all the great things he did.
Yep.
And so he told me, as a 22-year-old, he's a 22-year-old with a baby and a wife. He said, "Well, you don't worry about things. God honors your faith." And he said it so chill and so nonchalant. Like you know, sometimes people tell you advice they don't listen to.
Yeah.
But like when people tell you advice they actually do every day, it's a different vibe because it's like you can feel it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to say it at all, but it was like one of the most profound things I ever heard one of my like peers ever tell me. Because it was like, yo, like it changes how lax I am now. And how like calm I am, even if it could be chaos in the world. Yeah. I could be like, nah, it's cool. We gonna be all right. We still here. We drinking some tea. We alive.
We drinking some tea that has sugar today.
You feel me?
You know what I'm saying? I gotta say it. Yesterday,
do it.
I didn't think I had sugar until you pulled it out, and I ended up giving the guys some maple syrup.
That works too.
Things you do in your 20s. And it was the cancel syrup.
We are the kids of candy.
He had the cancel syrup. No, wait. It's Miss Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima got canceled. Uncle Brown, Uncle Ben, and Aunt Jemima.
Everybody got canceled.
Everybody got canceled. 2020 sucked. And I was conflicted too, bro. I was like, yo, when I want some pancakes, this the best pancake mix we got.
And just add water. We did that the other night. We were sitting around. We were like, okay, who wants cookies? Who wants a dessert? Who wants a sweet? And then I was like, yo, I got waffle mix.
We can't cancel the recipe. Cancel the name. Cool. Don't cancel the recipe.
Don't cancel the recipe.
The recipe worked.
It was like the most delicious waffle I've ever had.
The thing about like cancel culture is like we tried to make people own up to their past when we already knew what Aunt Jemima was. We all knew it.
Yeah.
Why we acting new to this? Like, what took 2020 to make people be like, enough is enough?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, I'll get it. I know why it happened. I know why. I'm not a coon, but I just like, yo, what was the spark? We had too much time on our plate. You know what else sucks and what else is fucked up? Aunt Jemima.
Get it off.
I had too much time. We like, this has been bugging somebody for years. And
somebody said it loud enough.
Yes.
For the people in the back
to hear it.
Yeah, and they heard it, and then once they heard it, it was.
There's a bunch of people in this world that can't even trace their origin story to how they even exist.
Yeah.
And we are offering no apology. We're offering no sympathy. We just like deal with it.
Or you try to figure it out.
But
like, where do you start?
Where do you start? It's not a simple answer. Like, okay, I got Ancestry.com, but how valid is that? How true is that? And
I've never used that.
You feel me? Like, but there's a lot of people that can trace where their ancestors come from. Us, we can't. For me, it's just crazy to see like how much accountability for the past we still don't have. Whereas there's a lot of things. It's like there's unanswered questions. There's unanswered ethical questions to like even our existence of how that happens, and even like certain things that as our community, we're some of the greatest like architects of our gifts, but we don't own none of it. But I'm grateful for people like MJ.
Yeah. Because,
like, if you watch them documentaries, they got this thing on YouTube called Detail, and they break down how Michael Jackson bought the rights to the publishing company that owned the Beatles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That man paid for it in cash from royalties from Thriller. Bro, Michael Jackson shot the Bad video with Martin Scorsese, and it was Wesley Snipes' first acting role. So he broke Wesley Snipes and had Martin Scorsese direct his comeback video after Thriller.
Fire.
You know how cold you are? And then think about this. And had a freaking ride at Disneyland that George Lucas and Francis Coppola directed. Think about that, bro. Think about how cold you are. You own the Beatles in the 80s. You got a ride at Disneyland. And Martin Scorsese just directed your comeback video. You know how unfuckwittable you are? That's chess.
Yeah.
That's chess right there.
Tell me why. So... I used to get a lot of things monogrammed, right? Mm-hmm. And my initials are RMJ. Mm-hmm. So if I was going to sell something that had my initials on it, they're like, what's the RMJ? And I'm like, remembering Michael Jackson.
You funny. You got jokes. Great. Talk about remember Michael Jackson. Man, that's one of those joints everybody remembers where they were when that happened, though. Like when he passed. Like you know where you were.
Everybody know exactly where they were. Yeah.
That's weird. It's crazy, but that's how you know it's like a historic. That's even crazy. Like the timestamp, like this podcast happened in a week. That's gonna be in our kids' social studies book one day.
Wow.
We
That's
gotta acknowledge
crazy.
that, G.
Acknowledge that.
Like the
fact
Capitol
that the
was
Capitol-
crazy.
We're talking about this. This is real life. Like they just busted in the Capitol building, got escorted into there. Talking about busted. Did you see those videos? They walked in that bitch.
That does not happen unless you
some people were just
right.
out.
That was
the
cap,
National Guard didn't show up in time.
Yeah, they did.
Like, during
okay.
George Floyd, the National Guard, they were there, right?
Yeah.
Deep.
And then part 2, ding, ding, ding. We saw a president get banned from Twitter.
Like,
Out of all
like
people in the
2021,
world,
day
man.
10, bro.
The most powerful man in the world is banned on Twitter.
And think about what all the other
Thank
world
God.
leaders are saying and thinking right now.
And they see the divide. Yo, that's the narcissistic perspective of America.
Yeah.
Real talk. We think that we the coldest thing since sliced bread sometimes.
That's not me.
But do you know what?
That hasn't happened to me whenever I traveled to Europe.
No,
Okay,
I'm
okay,
gonna tell whoever is listening that hates our country, if you think we suck, just go to Twitter and look at how our country cracked jokes on what was happening.
Yeah.
You'll see the real Americans. Real talk. Like, you'll see people that are like, yo, we got common sense. This don't represent us. Let them be them. This is funny as hell to us, too.
Yeah.
We look bad.
Yeah,
Let them look bad.
There
This
are
ain't
a lot
us.
of people that joked about all of it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like they live right in the U.S. and they're tweeting it and they're making it all trendy and stuff. Like,
Yeah. It was crazy too, cause when it happened, we was in the studio, and part of me, there was this moment, total transparency, where I got a fear. I got nervous. I was like thinking about what could happen, what's going crazy, and then I text my friend about it, and they were cracking jokes. And when they were cracking jokes, we were making a dance song at the same time. That record we played you Friday, we was working on that. So I started dialing into the song more and just dancing through it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this is okay. Life gonna go on.
Yeah.
Life gonna be okay. All these things that's happening is here and it better us.
Especially if nothing actually comes of it. If that just happens and then like everyone just like looks the other way, it's like, well, that's what happened. Like that's I think more scary than the fact that it actually happened.
you know,
We've seen one of the first human presidents ever.
Yeah.
This is like, I feel like everybody else fit a role and fit a thing that fit the role of what America wanted to represent itself as. And this is the first time there's an American that's like, this is how I really fucking am. And I'm not changing how I am. I'm not switching up for y'all for shit. Because I've been this way my whole life. I'm about to be 80 in 2 years. Why switch up now? 75 million people still fucked with him after all of that. Let's acknowledge that. Think about that, though. There's 75 million. That means there's somebody in this room that we all know that voted for Trump, and we don't even know if we know that.
Yeah.
But that's a real truth, bro. So we can get about our merry way, man. Like, motherfuckers want to live their regular ass life again. People gonna have true appreciation for the simple things again.
Oh, yeah. Just calling a friend feels different, you know?
FaceTiming feels a whole lot more human in a sense of like getting to know people and like understanding feelings, because FaceTime, I think for me, like back in the day, like a couple years ago, FaceTime was just like if they weren't around and you wanted to see what they were up to in a sense, and you just hit them up like randomly and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, or like you're FaceTiming your family and stuff. But now that's just a really common thing. Like people FaceTime call me all the time. You know what I mean? Like everybody's talking through it.
I think I definitely was FaceTiming a lot, but putting the phone down, cooking meals and shit, you know? I was
Chef
like, oh,
Ricky.
This is like...
He said,
definitely was a thing, like, oh, we can actually hang out for a little bit on FaceTime.
Yo, he let me be strong and wrong today. I was like, how'd your piccata go Friday?
Oh,
I know, and I was like, it was good. And then Alicia was like, you made piccata? I was like, okay, it was focaccia. I knew what you were talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like let's keep it real.
I was strong and wrong. I thought I knew what I was talking about. I said, how'd that piccata go?
It was good.
What are y'all excited for in 2021 when it comes to like artists releasing music?
Artists I don't know that will blow me away.
Yeah.
You remember how it felt to hear Royals for the first time by Lord?
Yeah. Yes.
That was
That shit was wild.
That was wild. I was like,
The visuals were insane.
What?
I remember where I was when I heard Royals. I was on my way home, and I was driving by myself at night, and I heard that shit, and it entranced me. And the fact that it was somebody like 16, 17, yo. You know, another moment I remember, like I remember in 2012 when Gautier went #1 was somebody that I used to know. That was a shock moment because it was like, if you remember 2012, that was fist pumping music, bro.
Yeah, what about the times about Black Eyed Peas? I Got a Feeling.
Yeah, but think about somebody I used to know. That was not like I Got a Feeling. That was what we was used to that whole time. Yep. Somebody I used to know was so freaking like anti-pop, but it was pop at the same time because he sounded like Sting. That was like shocking.
Yo.
Like I miss moments like that, and that's what I'm looking forward to in 2021. Like those shock value moments you don't see coming, but the artist just shocks you with some stuff that you wasn't thinking about.
Absolutely. And that would be a perfect time for me to say, welcome to the podcast. You got D. Phelps in the house. We got Emery in the house, my new good brother.
What's up?
And we got Matt Peiffer, magical. I will say that I've been blessed to hear some music that I'm inspired and ready to see released in 2021 from you guys, because what y'all been working on is kind of next level. And the people need to know about it. So I just took a moment today, even coming back after listening to your joint, and was like so inspired, bro.
Oh man,
it was like, yeah. Right.
I appreciate that, bro. It's funny, like it's nerve-wracking playing people like you the music, because you guys know me from a real pure place in my life that I wasn't at. So it's like, this is like showing people that really know you at your core and evolved perspective of yourself.
And that's been the coolest thing, because if y'all don't know, we know each other from 10 years back, you know, first getting to Berkeley, and we was playing music.
I didn't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, we were playing music.
In the podcast.
And,
that's why I said it was a vulnerable moment for sure, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a vulnerable moment, especially because it was like, it's great to say stuff like this. Like, the music you guys made, for me as a creative, it was intimidating because it made me realize I could do more. And I don't have to hold back as much as I thought I could. And that was enlightening. Yeah. New York has been very, like, enlightening for that, where it's just like, oh, you don't have to hold back those musical expressions that you, be like, embrace that part if it naturally comes to you. Like, absolutely. Don't throw those things away that people want. It was a beautiful moment to like share that with people that like know me from like the Berkeley days and like play that for y'all. It was cool. Like, it's just like part of how I've been evolving in LA and stuff.
I'm like, let me try to do this for the people. It was like, no, this is my shit. You know what I'm saying? And this is my concept, because you're such a fucking visionary, bro. So it was like, this is the whole like journey. And so I was like, yes.
Like, that project was made in a waiting period. So like, that's why I'm excited for people to hear it, because it's like they'll really see like a part of my life, time capsule. Like, I just want to, like, these moments that I'm playing represented how I felt about life in that moment. Genuinely bare bones, and like, it was the only way I could express myself in a healthy way instead of like internalizing it in a negative way. Like, that's the greatest advantage we got with our art. Yeah. Like, the world can experience our pain forever, but they can heal from it too.
They can heal from it, because we're healing from it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's meant to do.
It's inspiring to be here in this time of life and just like to time capsule this in a way that the world realizes what us creators are going through. To be in New York and to feel this energy right now, it's been one of the greatest things and illuminating things for me as a person. Is like, I've been remembering to be human again when I'm walking in the city. To like stop being focused on my agenda and to look at the present moment of like, you'll never see New York like this again.
Ever.
You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure you checking this out right now, because New York is evolving forever after this. Right? The year I was in a studio session with my homies. My homie Rico told me the message of the year was to maximize the moment.
It's so crazy.
That was 2020. That was last year. And that was something I lived every day. I ain't care. I was going to maximize the moment. I said, in this present moment, how can I make my reality the best situation I got?
Absolutely.
I'm stuck and I'm locked down in the crib. I got a chance to finally create a song I always wanted to do. Even if I try or fail, I'm going to go do it, and nobody can judge me. Guess what, too? I can go get drunk at 11 o'clock in the morning if I want to, because nobody's at work right now. So I'm going to drink me a hot toddy. And you can't, and I can do it because I'm in my 20s.
I'm in my 20s.
I was embracing all of that shit. Like, I can do shit that nobody
Ain't nobody stopping this shit.
Ain't nobody
right
stopping me. I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
No, April quarantine was liberating if you took advantage of it, bro.
Bro, it was so liberating. Thank you. I'm finally having somebody who says that.
Yo, it was liberating if you took advantage of that shit, bro.
Quarantine for me was kind of not rewarding, but when I was a kid and they told me to go to my room, I was happy as hell because I had keyboards, I had drums in there. Like, I could go back there and just, like, create my little church song for Sunday and, like, be fine. So when y'all told me stay in your house and create all day and, like, make my own, yeah.
I don't know if this happened for you guys, but I think, well, like, okay, I did not have that moment. I feel like I was pretty fresh in New York when the quarantine hit, but through all this, it, like, especially us starting to work together, but it like made me really appreciate that, like, human to human interaction, especially when making music.
Absolutely.
And, like, kind of reminded me how important that was.
Yeah.
Like, as opposed to just, like, either trying to do it all yourself or be kind of, you know, stuck in your own shit about it. But, like, when you have the opportunity to be there with other people and make something that you're, like, you know, you're both, like, stoked about, or you just, like, you know, you both put yourself in that moment and made something. That it was, like, a huge reminder to me, just, like, because it was almost, like, taken away, and then those opportunities slowly came back, and I was like, oh man, like, this reminded me why I'm here, like, why I'm trying to do this in general, you know.
That appreciation. I mean, I always tell people, I'm like, yo, concerts gonna hit different when they get back, because remember, if you watch the documentaries, all the artists used to complain about being on the road and how taxing it is. They're going to be so excited to go across the country.
You know how
again.
many artists are already talking about and posting about how they miss going on tour? Cool. And, like, from living in New York to, like, I was, like, 15, 16, and then just, like, leaving high school, 10th grade, moving out to LA to, like, just go just, like, live out there and do the music and acting, like, the switch that it gave me to realize was that, like, you could be at any age to work, you know? And I realized that in, like, 2012, 2013.
But at 15, did you feel like you were ready to go to it?
I felt like I was so ready, even though I didn't know anything. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because, like, back in the day, like what I did to get where I am today, like, I auditioned for the X Factor. Those thousands of people that waited in line at the Nassau Coliseum at, like, 3 a.m. to just wait to go at, like, 8 a.m. Like, we all were just waiting there to just go and take that shot. We're just all normal people.
And this virtual thing is working out way too well.
Zoom is booming in stock right now.
Zoom school Zims.
Like, do you guys feel like, your creative process has changed because we're kind of living in a more virtual world, or, like, just the idea that music can kind of become more personal because we're able to, like, reach out digitally in a different way, and it's not, like, part of this whole, like, charade of life that's happening, that, like, our society doesn't really exist in the same way. So, like,
I say yes and no to that, because, like, yes, part because, like, during this quarantine I've definitely done it more, but the no, because, like, I've lived, like, doing Instagram for so long, even when there was no quarantine. I was talking to people on Twitter even when there was quarantine, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, I guess just, like, right now, like, it's at, like, a state where we can either keep doing what we're doing, or there's gonna be, like, another type of app where it, like, actually changes the way of how people are gonna interact with each other through quarantine. But, like, to do live with multiple people, they've done it on TV now, like, with all the performances because of COVID, but, like, with social media, it'll be a whole different ballgame.
I mean, Clubhouse. They just dropped Clubhouse.
But they don't have, like, that Instagram look to where it's like, think about it, if you pull up on Instagram and there was, like, a live feature to see, like, what lives that person has been on with, like, 20 other people, like a panel. There's, what's that new one that just came out? What's it called? Jahari invited me to it. She was on that. Is that called Clubhouse? No.
That might be Clubhouse,
bro.
That is Clubhouse?
Yeah.
It could be either here today, gone tomorrow, or if it is something that the culture needs forever, they'll stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll see. Like, I remember, like, do y'all remember where y'all were when, like, y'all first got, like, YouTube or, like, Instagram? Like, now look at how crazy, like, people making bags off of this.
Just a post.
Just a post. Zoom school Sims. We living in a Sims world right now.
Yeah.
Real talk. It's some weird stuff going on, but it's cool to see how our phones have become such a monetization that we never thought of. Like how I look at people with viral stars, with people that go have their 15 minutes of fame, there are always going to be more commercials than TV shows.
Just depends on the TV shows that get those 10 seasons, man. Like Friends.
But
Friends.
I remember I was at my grandma's house one year and Friends came on TV, and I was watching. I was like, "Oh, these jokes is actually decent." I was like, "Oh, this is funny." Like,
what do y'all think about like The Office or?
I appreciate the genius. I just don't like dry comedy like that.
Shameless.
I don't watch stuff like that.
Okay, I'm not a TV person.
Really?
Or a movie person. There's not a lot I know about that.
Same.
I'm always like, they're like, have you seen? I'm like, no. But it's just what it is.
That's dope, though.
That is pretty cool.
Think about it. I mean, like, we just looking at a box all day.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Just a screen of multiple images and codes flooding that we can't even see. I'm excited to see, like, what's the next invention that's going to be normal, like a cup? That's gonna elevate us as, like, a society to where, like, it just elevates everything else.
I just find it so wild that you can have a phone in your hand, and then 2 years later, you can look at that same phone and that shit is outdated. It used to be.
But then you look at your old phone and you're like, this piece of garbage.
The one that told me about the unsealed iPhone price?
Yeah, there's there's like a first generation like unsealed iPhone that's like thousands of dollars, like thousands. I wonder how that would look.
Or think
now,
about this. You heard about like the Pokemon cards?
Oh man.
No.
Bro, Pokemon cards be getting bags, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, that's like the
Pokemon cards,
bro.
I thought there was like something that just happened. They found some Pokemon cards.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, you just know they like it's just Pokemon. That could have made you $19,000 that your mom threw away in the second grade and you don't even know.
Yo, I love watching those shits like when they find
like
something
Beanie Babies, bro. Sorry, my bad. Beanie Babies, there are so many that are like thousands and thousands.
One lady went to an antique shop and she said, I'll take that for $2. And she took it to her jeweler and the jeweler said, do you know what you got? And she's like, no, it was like $5 million diamond. $2 antique shop.
Yeah.
Bags. I be digging. I'm like, yo, hold up.
Speaking of which, we got a whole diamond in the rough here.
That is true.
Product placement time.
Shout out to RickExpress.
Your boys are wearing some pieces from the pop-up shop.
Wearing some.
All fresh and shit like that. Good brother left his piece at home.
I wore it while I was cooking the other night.
Yes.
Good dry cleaning.
Be okay with anything that happens because you got to wake up today. That first time that I wake up, I'm like, man, just gotta like be grateful that like I'm up, that my body woke me up.
For me, at least to be transparent, like you see people that had to have those things where you don't beat yourself up, but then there's people in this world during this COVID time you saw kept their same regiment daily, like kept doing certain things to better themselves daily, and that discipline was inspiring to see during the pandemic. Like I know some people like you know they're going through this but it's like there are some people that were going through it and still had a disciplined regimen that were determined to get something done, and you saw them like put in the work and put in the effort. So for me, I was like, kind of like in these moments where you have the choice to do better and you chose not to do better.
Yeah.
Next time you have the chance to choose, will you do better?
Yeah.
And like really like challenging myself in that moment instead of like giving myself excuses like, oh, it's bad. It's like, no, like, you know how many people don't want to do what the same thing but they choose they have to do it? And like, I want to, like, for
That's
me,
so real.
as a person, I want to try to implement that to just better myself.
Yeah.
Because I was realizing moments where I was, like, going hard, but I was like, I could go harder. I could do better. Like, you're being lazy. You don't have to be lazy. And, like, these things are, it's like, I don't feel like doing it. Could have been moments that built, my stamina when I don't feel like doing stuff. Because there's moments in all of our life where we ain't going to feel like doing something. But we're going to have that stamina to endure it and dug it out.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think it was hard to appreciate that I had a good day. So many people were like really, really struggling with some shit. That was kind of hard for me because I'll pick up the phone and every conversation was so down, and I was like, yo, what's happening? Taking that and trying to figure out ways to just uplift and like try to build on like happiness and finding peace. is now like my goal going forward. Why is my mind so strong? You know, what did I figure out? Nothing. What can we talk about? Everything. Let's do it. And so I feel like that's my mission and that's my goal going forward. Getting it all on the table. You
That's
know?
good.
That's beautiful.
That's the way to do it, man.
It's gonna be funny to if you ask yourself that same questions about moment is acceptance in 10 years.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a different answer than you expect to hear yourself say right now.
I know, and then when I watch this in 10 years, I might be like, what was he talking about? Or at the same time,
you know,
man, what am I doing? You know, who knows? You
or we
never
could
know.
be saying some shit that's just gonna stick and last.
True.
Matt, like, I doubt it.
I think there's a lot of truth being said that have to do, or you didn't. Your perspective is always going to be in a positive place because you're putting good energy into yourself, as opposed to like constantly putting the mirror in front of you and being like, I'm not the person I want to be yet. I'm not the person I want to be.
That voice in
today
your head,
wasn't exactly like today wasn't my best
Well,
day or whatever. Like, and then it easily spirals into something where that can feed into the next day, and like that routine you were trying to start. Like, oh well, that's gone. Like, let's try to get back next Monday or whatever.
You have to really dig in and learn how to meet yourself where you're at. And like not where people think you're at, not where you think you should be. Like, where am I and what's going on right around me? And how can I work with that? Because if I'm trying to scale with no investment, what are we talking about?
What about your music? Come on, talk about it.
Oh,
RickExpress.
I'm excited, you know. Wow, that didn't sound excited at all. I'm fucking stoked. Okay? Trying to stay true. You know, I'm listening every day. You know, it sounds like me. I definitely feel like I got like a second chance at like everything. You know, life in general.
That's
right
pretty
now.
dope.
I'm listening to the music and I'm watching my life and how it's evolved, and I'm looking around this table and I'm looking around the surroundings and the conversations and the people, and I'm like, yo.
Definitely an evolved artist, bro. It's an evolution for sure. Just dope to see, though. It's like, we be from boys to men. You feel me? Like, it's dope to see how we all evolve and, like, grow, and how we gonna, like, this in 10 years is gonna be a different Ricky, and I'm excited to see that, too.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's dope that you allowing your creative side to flow and, like, be in a place where, like, everything you do truly reflects what you want it to be. And I think I feel like that's when you know you're living an authentic life. And I think that's what we should all aspire to. 'Cause that's true artistry.
We've had so many conversations where you're like, yeah, I really need to put this part together or whatever. And as soon as, like, I feel like you start to put energy into it yourself, like, the people that you need.
They just come to you. They attract to you.
Are all of a sudden there. And I'm like, I feel like we've been sitting outside and so many times where it's just like, you just manifest it.
That's how you just know it was a moment that was supposed to happen, though. It was a beautiful time.
Yeah, all this was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I even think back when you hit me up in LA and it was just like, yo. Something about when you say yo, I was like, David Phelps. You know what I was like? I was like, oh my God. I don't know, something about that yo was like, yo, come through, please come through, and let's do this thing.
But the fact that you were literally, I could walk to where y'all was at from my crib was the weirdest thing, bro.
God is a missionary.
Bro, you're a comedian, for real.
Yo.
That was the weirdest thing ever, like, literally, that's how I met Alicia. Like, all of that stuff's like, they were literally, me and Matt, my homie Matt, that we went to Berkeley with, we pulled up over, after we got some food, pulled up over there. Matt was there. We just called it Vibe. That song we was working on.
Yeah.
We was just randomly vibing in the room.
What I love about David is when it's feeling good, he'll give you the the little snicker.
Or he'll play it, right? He'll play it, right? And then he'll look at you like deadpan, like, you feeling it yet?
And
Like,
like,
you feeling it with me? And then, like, if he doesn't feel it, he'll be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So
look at
I was
his face.
like-
He knows.
I was like,
it's funny.
Okay, this ain't hitting yet. Okay, let me try this. No, not yet. And I said, da. He said, I said, he's sticking with that. That's the hook. That's the hook right there. I went back and I was like, wherever I saw David chuckle, we keeping that.
That was funny.
But I love creating in LA.
LA got a whole industry vibe to it too, where it's just like, it's like playing in the NBA versus playing in the gym. When you do the studio sessions the right way, you in the right environments, like the studio y'all was at, that's a you know, that's a big boy. That's a raw. You know what I'm saying? Like you working there, you getting your Uber Eats and stuff at the studio, and you locked in at a studio like that.
You ain't
you
leaving.
feel like you feel like you working on songs in the key of life. No cap, you doing the greatest thing since sliced bread. So like,
we are the world type shit.
Yeah, that yo, and it's crazy. Like I've been just like going back and watching that type of footage just to see like how those OGs was really doing it. Like that David Foster documentary that came out.
Oh,
you know what? That's something I wanted to talk to you about earlier. I'm glad we bringing it up on the podcast. Something that I watched during quarantine. Something I did during quarantine because I went back home to my parents. My mom asked me to come home during quarantine, so I was just like, you know what, I'll do it. I came home for like 2 months and stuff. And something I did to stay motivated was watching a lot of documentaries. There was this one Showtime documentary about David Bowie called Finding Fame. You know, it's about like the first couple years of David Bowie and his evolutionary process before he like hit people with that like space oddity shit. And it was crazy because like David Bowie, they was talking about like this one album David Bowie dropped. I think it was his debut album. But it came out around the same time as Sgt. Pepper's. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a man like David Bowie might have been an innovator, but it wasn't as innovative as like a Sgt. Pepper's or the Beatles' time in life. And like,
I'm excited for the new Beatles documentary.
That's gonna be dope. But
I saw
like,
the trailer the other night.
It's like literally like it took him a while to like find his niche and find his vibe, and when he created it and found his sound, but it was like showing just like the process that he went through, and it was never that it was bad music. It was just like the world didn't react to it yet, and then he hit him with that space oddity,
and it was over.
They just was like, yo, what is this?
Ate it up.
So many artists at that time were tormented by the Beatles releasing like another record.
Yo, that's
Sometimes
when you know
dropping 2 albums, like it's like when you see people do that, like that's some next level shit.
No, you want to think about something about the Beatles.
That's catalog.
The Beatles had a freaking from like 65 to 70. They were hitting people with content every year. And it wasn't just music, it was music and visuals. Like they didn't let up. Like, and they was dropping like they dropped Revolver in 66. They dropped Sgt. Pepper's in 67. I think they dropped Magical Mystery Tour in 67 too. Then they dropped White Album in like 68. Then they dropped Abbey Road in 69. Then every album was like they got number one.
Well, they were like enabled, like obviously because their status to just
their status gave them that.
But they were continuing to push the envelope.
I just say that in terms of how long some things take to make now, and even how much it probably took back in those days, and like how we talk about, I need my time, and it's like sometimes it's like, yo, these are people. We talk about the Beatles. The Beatles is like the best of both, where it's like every album got like 5 stars on Rolling Stone, and they got like 18 to 20 number ones. Yeah, so it's like they gave you hits, and they gave you Rocky Raccoon type shit, where it's like campfire music and all this type of random ass shit. Yeah. But it was just like their expression of their artistry. So it's like they were really giving you full bodies of work, where it's like you get this freaking like the hits that we all know, and then you got the stuff that like the deep catalog that you got to be like in the know to know. Like that's all of it to know. Yeah, like that's some like Beatles is like a club in my opinion. Exactly. Something I got to do with the vinyls was like I started asking myself questions about artists that like everybody always goes crazy over or has shirts about, and be like, why do people love Zeppelin? Why do people love The Who? Got a chance to listen to stuff. The band that shocked me the most was Pink Floyd. Like there's this song on Wish You Were Here called Shine On You Crazy Diamond. I think it's like 7 to 13 minutes. I don't know how long. It's just a long song. The intro is a long song. The first 2 songs alone, I think, is a side of a freaking A side of the final. Welcome to the Machine and Shine On You Crazy Diamond. Like those songs are so long, but it's like, if you listen to it, you're enthralled the whole time. You're not bored. If you really listen to it on vinyl, you're like, this is really great music. And like the bro don't sing for like 5 minutes. It's just instrumental for the first time. Like you listening to the music and it's just like they taking their time with it. They not rushing you. They just like, you gonna listen to it. You feel me? But what rock my world was like when I see them perform it, they be at like Rose Bowl. I was like, wait. 60,000 people appreciated this type of music, and it's not even some stuff you could just sing along like a Ed Sheeran song, but they can sell out Rose Bowl. It's like, it just makes you think like, okay, what's that happy medium? Or go watch a Queen concert and listen to some of the songs that Queen perform. You're like, oh, these men understood music in a whole different level.
Bohemian Rhapsody, man.
Gee, no, I was like,
movie.
yo, one of the coldest concerts to watch is Queen Wembley. It's like Queen Live at Wembley. Watch how those dudes was dressed.
Yeah.
Queen was so swaggy.
Yo.
All of them, all 4 of them was dressed raw as fuck. Like, going crazy on the music, though. I'm like, damn, like, these dudes was cold.
Yeah.
And they was like stylish. They was like swaggy, but they was like kicking ass and taking names, too. And I thought about that. I'm like, why can't we have both?
We can.
We can.
And we are.
just
And
gotta
we
do
will.
it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
we're
finding.
doing
And
it.
that's why I love you. I'm just like, David! Because you think about the visual, you know, you think visually. And that comes across in your art. And I'm like that. Like, every time I'm writing, like, I'm not thinking about, oh, this is a song I gotta sing. I'm seeing the whole production behind it. I'm seeing, like, everybody I'm hitting up. Like, I'm seeing the whole crew, like, working for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And also, paying attention to wardrobe is why this all exists anyway. Because I know what it feels like when you put on a certain piece of clothing. That changes your whole performance.
Facts.
So I'm like, yo, artists, like, are we sure that we feel good when we're on stage? Because if we're not going to perform that way.
Right.
This is important. Get comfortable.
Right.
You know, so...
Pick your own
I think
outfit.
also as artists, you have to like pay attention to that for yourself because you're like in charge of giving that experience to people who don't know how to do that for themselves.
Right.
Exactly.
Those people
Yeah.
that are just sitting at home watching you on their videos and thinking, can I do this? And that if you express that you can, people are going to think that they can.
Or even if they're like a fucking accountant and they're
Yeah.
just going to work,
Working in a
whatever.
cubicle.
Yeah,
No.
but they play your shit and they feel that you make them feel that way. You empower them, like being aware of like how all those things tie together and what you can like bring to that experience. I think is like it's like part of our job, but it's not something that everyone knows how to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good conversation.
Yeah, pleasant surprise. I didn't know I was going to be doing a podcast if I came to New York City, but here we are.
Here we are.
New years, new experiences, new trials, new things, and like this is exciting, man. I'm happy for what you're doing and stuff. I'm glad to be a part of it and see what happens, man. And as I get older and stuff, it's just like things that, as we talk and just grow, it's just things that, you know, as we grow at our craft, that we just want to grow better at and stuff. And like,
Absolutely.
it's stuff to look forward to. And for me, it's been enlightening to come to see like a great city like this and see what the creatives of the city are doing right now and like how y'all are approaching the same thing we approach and like what certain things you can bring back with you that you can apply anywhere and just like keep going. And it's exciting to see what y'all brewing up right now. Like, there's some stuff going on in this underground right now. Like, you got some stuff brewing in here, man. It's gonna be cool. Like one day we're just like this talking in the basement, and then another day the whole world watches our conversation.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
So it's just like we just gotta just cherish these moments and cherish these times because it's gonna get different soon.
Wow. Wow.
Things are about to change, man.
Artists' biggest problem is releasing shit.
Yep.
You know, like we don't even know what sounds could be birthed.
Yep.
You know, just because we're just holding. What are these vaults?
Yeah, there's so many songs being put out a day.
Yeah. I mean,
Crazy.
we've been talking about it. I'm over hoarding music. Like, I'm ready to release music. And it's like, I love when I hear somebody pull up with 80 tracks that are fire.
Mm-hmm.
But
Why you ain't letting them?
why are we not? What is it?
I think
What's the disconnect?
I think it's really releasing the concept of releasing the right way.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't release because they feel like there's a way that it has to be released. And like, yes, there is proper precautions and proper things that you should do and have prepared for your release. But sometimes somebody could put a song on YouTube and it can become the biggest thing ever. And sometimes you can have the best label in the world releasing your song and putting you on New Music Friday at the 5th slot, and nothing still happens.
Right.
Like, nothing is guaranteed. It's just about if the song is here for the world to register to it, they're going to register to it and are releasing that one. It's like, you got to know when it's ready to let it go. Yeah. You got to know in this moment that I do the best with it that I can in this moment to let it go in the time that I know it needs to be birthed. Yeah. And like releasing that, because we don't have no control about it. Somebody always tell me, and I get convicted about it, because she's like, sometimes you get to a point where the song isn't for you anymore. It's for the listener. It's, you know what I'm saying? You're doing people a disservice if you don't let them hear this thing that was made for them. Like, there's so many songs in our genetic code of our DNA that help even make our identities and help shape our identities.
There's actually certain frequencies that actually make you feel better.
Yeah. And you might be sitting on it on your phone. Yeah. That can help somebody's day,
that
somebody's
can help
life.
Somebody's day, give them a smile, keep them here a little longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Keep them from feeling down.
And that's the thing, like, I hope people never underestimate the power of small releases. You know what I'm saying? Like, something that I was really sobering and, like, enlightening for me was, like, as a producer, I'm somebody that has, like, millions of streams and stuff. So every time I release something, I expect millions, you know? But when you release something as an artist, you gotta understand you're releasing music from a whole different lens of how people are used to perceiving you.
Exactly.
So you have to humble yourself and humble your expectations and stuff. And when I released stuff, like, it wasn't doing the numbers I was used to, you know what I'm saying? But I had friends being like, no, bro, you're doing great. This is actually really great. And I was like, no, we're not.
Like that validation isn't as, like, validating.
Yeah, but it was to certain people. They were just proud to see me doing stuff. They were just proud to see the steps. Like, yo, you understand that nobody even knew this band existed a couple weeks ago, and now this many people are listening to you daily. And I thought nothing of it because I was just like, well, nobody knows I produced this, but they're listening to this too. But it was just like, at the end of the day, it's still establishment. It's still order. It's still like understanding the process and being patient with it. Because, like, that's the one thing with artists, we got this entitlement. It's like, you just can't just drop a song and expect everybody to get what you're doing. Because so many people can drop a song and then leave you alone. There's so many songs
getting dropped.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got to drop a song and keep feeding them beast when you drop.
Some content, show the vision so people can understand it visually. Yeah. Because then there's some people that just, like, listen to music to kill the time. You know what I mean? They just look at the visuals of it and they just look at the music videos of it, you know?
Yeah. And just bringing in people into the world. And that's the importance of, like, even what you're doing with this is, like, this is a catalyst to invite people into the RickExpress world. Not just be, like, it's, like, beyond the music, this is the person at its truest, at its purest. Like, you getting a real authentic version of you. So it's, like, people that are drawn to you from music, if they want to know more about you, you're giving them authentic ways outside of a song to really like bring people into your world, which is, I think, an incredible thing. You know what I'm saying? That I feel like all artists in this decade have to learn. We have to be multifaceted with our innovations now, because at the end of the day, everybody would tell you, like, money not the real bag. It's the things that you do with the music that is the bag.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's like, when you realize that, it's enlightening, because, you know what I'm saying, the music is just help to sell a product. It's used to sell a commodity. You know. And when you can bring the music and the product together in a way where the music still comes freely and it comes from a place of, like, I'm not just trying to get a bag, I'm just doing it for expression, but I know where my bag comes from, and I know that it's not coming from a place of ill intention of my music. My music is coming from the most pure place. It's not because I want to make a hit. It's like, I have my platform that I know everybody's going to hear is whether they want to hear it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. I was with a bunch of hood people one day, and we was all in the crib chilling, and Up by Pixar was on. I looked at them. I was like, y'all know y'all listen to classical music right now. They smoking. They looked at me. They was like, really? Like, this is a classical piece right now. They was like, really? I was like, yeah, you know, if this was on the radio, y'all would have skipped this right now. The fact that this is on TV, y'all allowed this to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's about putting people in a place where they'll digest something they normally wouldn't digest.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, that's I think the real key of all of this stuff. Like, yo, like, I know this music is dope, but let me put this in a place where this is a commodity where you can appreciate it for yourself. But I'm giving it to you and I'm encouraging it. And that's the greatest thing I feel like film and television can really do for artists like us. It's like, yo, you can really place this music strategically where you not only do they feel the music, they feel what you saw when you made the art, and can scope the full vision of your world and how you see your world. It's enlightening to find things outside, like, of music, because sometimes I feel like doing music, you can be very narcissistic to the world and what other people's passions is, and you gotta realize some people don't give a fuck about our struggles with music, and like, it's a sobering thing to realize that, because if we feel like it's the greatest thing to do, some people don't care to do music. It's just a part of their life, like eating food.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's kind of like a hobby.
It's just a hobby to them.
Yeah.
So it's just
or
crazy.
it's just like the normal daily routine for them. You know?
So like just appreciating how the world thinks and just like, or having something outside of music to get you just as excited as music. Like the fact that you like gardening now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool. It's just like, it's just, what are just random human traits that you could tell anybody in the world that you like and they can understand it without talking about music. Besides music, we got the human side of you. We got the real out of you. Since this, I would like to take this last moment of the podcast and say 50 Cent has an excellent beat selection of his catalog.
And you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, from
Go
David
50.
Phelps. Listen, we made history tonight. This feels amazing. Thank y'all so much, like, for coming through, for the vibes, for the energy, for 10 years of energy, for the new vibes.
It was fun. Just hang.
You know, I'm going to see you in the morning at 10 a.m. I love you.
Exactly.
But we're going to wrap it up. And, yeah, that's it. It's just family talk.
Fun stuff.
It's just what it is. You know, y'all got y'all sugar. And...
Sponsored by.
Sponsored by Domino Sugar.
Sponsored by Domino Sugar.
Get your sugar.
Sick.
Yo, I can't.
Okay, we gotta do the outro song.
We gotta do the outro song?
Mm-hmm.
What's the outro song?
I don't know.
Oh, gosh.
We're leaving. We're going.
This is the outro.
Going. Going.
The piano.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's all good. We could have had a moment.
We could have had a moment, but the real moment is thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cut.